Also Senators Winter, F. and Fields concerning procedures for expulsion hearing officers.
Representative Gonzalez Gutierrez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1291 and the appropriations and the Education Committee reports.
To the appropriation report. Representative.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In appropriations, there were funds appropriated based on the addition of the training requirements with the Department of Education. I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the appropriation report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the appropriation report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye!
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The appropriation report is passed. To the education report.
Wait 1 second.
Representative Gonzalez Gutierrez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I forgot to mention that they passed appropriations unanimously. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. But back to the Education Committee report.
Representative Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is an honor to serve with you.
Honored to serve with you.
Thank you. And the House Educations Committee, the report, we just had a few amendments, just cleanup amendments based on stakeholding, and also some of the amendments actually lowered the funding and also just struck some language that was a bit confusing and did not fit the context and purpose of the bill itself. And we ask for an aye vote on the Educations Committee report.
Is there any further discussion of the education report? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the education report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye!
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The education report is passed. To the bill. Representative Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say that the bill requires, the most important part of the bill actually just requires change to the expulsion hearings for school and required training for hearing officers, and I ask for an aye vote. And then I'll pass it to my co-prime, who's been really great, and I have learned so much from her through this experience.
Representative Gonzalez Gutierrez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I also want to thank my co-prime because we couldn't have gotten through this without her. So I do also want to ask for your aye vote, if anyone's listening, aye vote on 1291. We were very grateful to see this bill pass unanimously out of committee. And we worked with a variety of stakeholders to really just address this particular issue. Before this bill, there was no requirement for expulsion hearing officers to be trained in not only the law, but in adolescent brain development and understanding trauma-informed care. But also, this bill does also, require that families are able to access documentation in a timely manner, and also prohibits conflict of interest with our expulsion hearing officers. And with that, I ask for an aye vote on House Bill 1291.
Is there any further discussion of House Bill 1291? Representative Bradfield.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, 1291 did a big turnaround from the first time we heard it in committee. And the second time around, I was one of the 11 that voted for this, and I'm so glad. I just have to come down here and say that I can't think that we in the state of Colorado in the 21st century have very many school districts that do not have a policy, a procedure that is legally correct, balanced, fair, because they simply can't. There's lawsuits and all kinds of things. So most school districts will have a very defined process before they go through to the effort of expulsion. And also, a vast majority of the school districts will have a plan that is approved by parents for what that is going to be doing after they've been expelled. They don't just sit at home, even though people want to believe that's what expelled kids do. They don't. And I really want to thank the sponsors for taking those facts and into consideration. And the training portion of this, we can all get better on state law, what's new, what's not working. And thank you.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1291? Seeing none, the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1291. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The bill is passed. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Chair, I move the committee rise and report.
You have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Schiebel, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report it as under consideration the following touch bills, being the second reading thereof and making the following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1146 is amended, 1189 as amended, 1281 is amended, 1283 is amended, 1291 is amended, 1294 is amended, 1306 is amended, passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 29 is amended, 53 is amended, 105 is amended, 249 is amended, 265 and 287 passed on second reading, ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Representative Young. Members, you have heard the motion. There are amendments at the desk. Mr. Schiebel, please read the Armagost Amendment to House Bill 1146 on the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Armagost moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee and not adopting the following Armagost Amendment L9 to House Bill 1146 to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1146 is amended passed.
Representative Armagost.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I ask that the only Armagost Amendment be moved to the Committee of the Whole report and be properly displayed.
That was properly moved and displayed. Please proceed.
So again, this is just to reiterate that there are certain companies that it wouldn't be appropriate for employees to be accepting gratuities or tips or gifts or otherwise. And this amendment would help fix that and prevent those companies, organizations from being looped into this bill, therefore forcing them to violate their own policies and ethics. So I ask for an aye vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of the Armagost Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Please close the machine. With 16 aye, 43 no, and 6 excused, the Armagost Amendment is lost. Mr. Schiebel, please read the Catlin Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Catlin moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee and not adopting the following Evans Amendment L4 to House Bill 1294 to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Representative Catlin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
And an honor to serve with you.
Thank you. I'd like to move the Catlin Amendment to House Bill 23-1294 and have it displayed.
It is properly displayed. Rep. Catlin, if you wouldn't mind moving that to the Committee of the Whole report.
Oh, sorry. I'd like to move the Catlin Amendment to the Committee of the Whole on House Bill 23-1294.
Perfect. Please proceed.
Thank you. What we're trying to do here is to require a higher standard to file a complaint, since the commission may and shall investigate. So I'm wanting people to understand these are the kind of things we need to do to help the communities out here that we're trying to protect. So these are the kind of things I think the state of Colorado should take the time to think about, and I would urge a yes vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of the Catlin Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Representative Bacon is excused. There she is. Please close the machine. With 17 aye, 42 no, and 6 excused, the Catlin Amendment is lost. Mr. Schiebel, please read the DeGraff Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative DeGraff moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee not adopting the following DeGraff Amendment L58 to House Bill 1294 to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Representative DeGraff.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move L058 to HB 23-1294 and ask that it be displayed.
It is properly displayed. You have moved that to the cow. Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. All right. Simple. Any permit application submitted to the division pursuant to article must include a cradle-to-grave pollution survey categorized by pollutant to include material, sourcing, manufacturing, transportation, final disposition, indexed to actual anticipated megawatt of production. And the reason I put this forward was because this is an opportunity that we can put the free market to work to make make working conditions around the world better. The free market, we have a free exchange of value for value, and we, as Colorado, can invest in what we value more. And we're saying pollution is a global problem, and so we want to discourage pollution elsewhere. This is for knowledge only. This drives no decisions. It allows fully informed decisions. It keeps Colorado, it would help promote Colorado business if we look at the pollution index and see that maybe it's not in accordance with our values. It might be something that we can push business back to Colorado and have the justification for it. But there is no requirement in here for decision making. It's just having that data, because then we can measure it. If we accept this is not directive in any way. It does allow for a more fully informed decision. The free market is an exchange that, like I said, is good for good or value for value, with each side determining. And this is an opportunity that Colorado can determine that the manufacturing processes are in accordance with our values. It also goes to final disposition, because to help ensure that, just like the bill that came up with composting, that we want to make sure and encourage that the final disposition of the material is manufactured in such a way that it can be disassembled or recycled in an easier fashion. So having a cradle to grave, having that data collection over time will allow us to make better decisions. And like I said, if it does anything, it could help move business back towards Colorado. And in the case of like the United Steelworkers, it helps put the workers that are in Colorado on an equal playing field with the rest of the world. In terms of manufacturers, this will help not disadvantage our companies like or the organizations like the United Steelworkers, who are very involved. And without this, I'm afraid that they will be disadvantaged in the overall field. So I ask for an aye vote for a multitude of reasons, but this is a legitimate way to help utilize the moral force of the free market to improve conditions around the world. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of the DeGraff Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Representative Valdez. Please close the machine. With 16 aye, 43 no, and 6 excused, the DeGraff Amendment is lost. Mr. Schiebel, please read the first Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Evans moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Evans Amendment L6 to House Bill 1294 to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Representative Evans.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the first Evans Amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole and ask for it to be displayed.
It is properly displayed. Please proceed.
I don't even remember what that one said because it's not up there. But I'm sure it did something good, so I would ask for your aye vote.
This is L006. Do you not have that one, Representative?
Oh, I have it in my folder. It's just not printed on that particular cow like they normally are.
We will stand in a brief recess. The House will come back to order. Okay. Representative Evans, let's start again.
All right, it is, I move Amendment L006 to the committee report and ask for it to be displayed.
It is properly displayed. Please proceed.
I was right, colleagues. This is a good amendment. I just needed to remember which one it is. So what L006 does is it acknowledges the current idea in the law that says that equipment doesn't operate at its maximum potential during startup and shutdown. And so in the exact same way that like an EPA Stage 2 certified wood stove already has an allowance built into law that says, hey, for the first 20 minutes when it's heating up, and then for the 3 hours when it's burning down, it's allowed to exceed emissions even on action days here in the metro area. The exact same thing here. It already exists in the law. This amendment is just preserving that so that those equipment operators can ensure that they have their equipment in compliance, even if they need a second on startup or shutdown for it to get into that max operating range. I ask for your aye vote.
Assistant Majority Leader Bacon.
Yes, it's a great bill. Vote yes. Sorry. Members, we ask for a no vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the first Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Mr. Schiebel? Representative Holtorf. Please close the machine. With 16 aye, 43 no, and 6 excused, the first Evans Amendment is lost. Mr. Shebel, please read the second Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Evans moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Evans Amendment, L13, to House Bill 1294 to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Representative Evans.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the second Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report and ask for it to be displayed.
It is properly displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you. Colleagues, as we talked about, CDPHE and NASA say that emissions from oil and gas have dropped anywhere from 52 to 65% from 2013 to 2019. So if air quality is getting worse, but emissions from oil and gas are also going down, as verified by CDPHE and NASA, what this amendment says is that we need to have a study and a report to figure out where these emissions are coming from so that we can target our policy and our curtailment measures toward the appropriate parts of all those entities that are having emissions so that we can ensure that we're actually reducing emissions and not trying to regulate an entity that's actually not contributing that much emissions per CDPHE and NASA 2019 compared to 2013. I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no other discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the second Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Please close the machine. With 17 aye, 42 no, and 6 excused, the second Evans Amendment is lost. Mr. Shebel, please read the third Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Evans moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Evans Amendment, L27, to House Bill 1294 to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Representative Evans.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the third Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report and ask for it to be displayed.
It is displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you. So, colleagues, as we discussed, there can be times where an ethical operator who's doing everything that they can to comply with the law, perhaps on startup and shutdown, as we discussed in a previous amendment, has a period of time where they exceed the emissions. In the bill, it talked about the fact that when there is an exceedance of the allowable emissions, there has to be a penalty, and that penalty has to be more than whatever the financial benefit the company accrued was. What this amendment does is recognizes that not all of those times was there even a financial benefit realized by the company if there was perhaps a momentary exceedance of emissions during startup or shutdown of equipment. So this amendment recognizes that. It takes out the language that blatantly penalizes companies by automatically assuming that they're doing these things for nefarious purposes to realize a benefit. It acknowledges that there may be times where you may just have a physical malfunction of equipment despite the best efforts of the operators and best practices to maintain that. I would ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the third Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Representative Snyder, it's late, I'm cranky, $7 fine. Please close the machine. With 16 aye, 43 no, and 6 excused, the third Evans Amendment is lost. Mr. Shebel, please read the fourth Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Evans moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Evans Amendment, L45, to House Bill 1294 to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Representative Evans.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This one's very similar to the last amendment we just ran. This just recognizes that there are times when a company can do everything that they're supposed to be doing, and things can still break, which could result in a temporary exceedance of emission standards. So this amendment addresses that by taking out some of that overtly punitive language. I ask for your aye vote.
Representative Evans, could I have you move that again just to make sure?
Of course, Madam Speaker. I move the fourth Evans Amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole and ask for it to be displayed.
Thank you. Members, the question before us is the adoption of the fourth Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Representatives Bradley and Catlin. Please close the machine. With 16 aye, 43 no, and 6 excused, the fourth Evans Amendment is lost. Mr. Schiebel, please read the fifth Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Evans moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Evans Amendment, L29, to House Bill 1294 to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Representative Evans.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the fifth Evans Amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole and ask for it to be displayed.
Thank you. It is properly, maybe that's our problem. This is the last one. No. We're good. Representative Evans, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. What this amendment addresses is the definition of the term cumulative impact. So I realize that term cumulative impact has been around for a couple of years, and this bill is trying to define it. However, my concern is it's an extremely broad definition of cumulative impact that includes literally everything, but then tries to dump it into the lap of oil and gas. And so my concern with that is that, as we've talked about before, this is attributing a lot of different things to oil and gas that just aren't borne out by the science, to include the science as corroborated by our very own CDPHE and NASA that says that a lot of the front-range air quality problems are not the result of oil and gas operations, which have decreased their emissions by over 50% in the last few years. And so what this amendment does is that just takes out that definition of cumulative impact so that we can work on it a little bit more and ensure that we're actually capturing the correct cumulative impacts and correctly attributing that to oil and gas and not just making this a catch-all. I ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the fifth Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Please close the machine. With 17 aye, 42 no, and 6 excused, the fifth Evans Amendment is lost. Mr. Schiebel, please read the sixth Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Evans moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Evans Amendment, L14 to House Bill 1249 to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294, as amended passed.
Representative Evans.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the sixth Evans Amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole and ask for it to be displayed.
It is properly displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I'm actually a little ashamed to offer this one, but it's up on the board, so we're going to drive forward. This one says that the Senate maybe should have a little bit of say in appointing the chair of the committee. Vote how you will.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the 6th Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Negative. No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Please close the machine. With 15 aye, 44 no, and 6 excused, the 6th Evans Amendment is lost. Mr. Schiebel, please read the 7th Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Evans moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Evans Amendment, L21 to House Bill 1294, to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Representative Evans, lucky number 7.
Maybe this one will pass. Madam Speaker, I move the 7th Evans Amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole and ask for it to be displayed.
It is properly displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So what this amendment does is, as we recall, the bill establishes an interim committee to study some of these issues further. And so this just aligns that the membership of that committee to reflect the fact that it should be balanced, and so it adjusts the numbers of members on that committee from the majority and the minority party to be equal. The committee is going to be recommending legislation, so this just recognizes that legislation that is recommended ought to be bipartisan. So if you like bipartisanship, vote for this amendment. I ask for an aye vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the 7th Evans Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Please close the machine. With 17 aye, 42 no, and 6 excused, the 7th Evans Amendment is lost. Mr. Schiebel, please read the Puglisi Amendment, first Puglisi Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Puglisi moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Puglisi Amendment, L5 to House Bill 1294, to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Assistant Minority Leader Puglisi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the first Puglisi Amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole and ask that it be properly displayed.
It is properly displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Speaker. When we read this language, it felt like the complainant was getting a second bite at the apple after extinguishing all their other remedies, and we would ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the first Puglisi Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Catlin and Duran. Please close the machine. With 16 aye, 43 no, and 6 excused, the first Puglisi Amendment is lost. Mr. Schiebel, please read the second Puglisi Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Puglisi moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Puglisi Amendment, L9 to House Bill 1294, to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Representative Puglisi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the second Puglisi amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole and ask that it be properly displayed.
Assistant Minority Leader Puglisi, it is properly displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This section talks a lot about the complainants and making sure that they have attorney's fees and remedies under that section. However, we were concerned about opening the door to anyone that complains, getting those fees and costs reimbursed, even if the action doesn't move forward or is found in compliance. And so we didn't want to have that money expended and thought that this should be stricken, and I would ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the second Puglisi amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Please close the machine. With 16 aye, 43 no, and 6 excused, the second Puglisi amendment is lost. Mr. Schiebel, please read the Winter amendment to the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Winter moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Winter amendment, L2 to House Bill 1294, to show that said amendment passed, that House Bill 1294 is amended passed.
Representative Winter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to move the Winter amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole and ask that it properly be displayed.
It is displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. What we're trying to do with this amendment is a lot of times, especially in rural areas or less populated areas, we are in attainment and seeing kind of the hit that industry's taking. It's a little bit harder for us to replace those good paying blue collar jobs in these areas. And our fear is that it's just going to speed up that process. And with those being attainment areas, there's a lot of industries like the one I mentioned in Pueblo County that has worked hard to try to go alongside with the goals set by the state of Colorado when it comes to climate. And we just don't want to see them to be any type of unfortunate casualty based upon this type of legislation. So, give them a little bit more time. If they're in an area that is in attainment, let's not penalize them. Let's make sure that they keep paying their workers. So I urge an aye vote on this. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the Winter amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Morrow votes no. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Ortiz votes no. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Garcia votes no. Please close the machine. With 19 aye, 40 no, and 6 excused, the Winter amendment is lost. There are no more amendments at the desk. The question before us is the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Garcia votes yes. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Morrow votes yes. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Please close the machine. With 43 aye, 16 no, and 6 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move the following bills be made special orders at 8:25 p.m. House Bill 1284, Senate Bill 35, House Bill 1299, House Bill 1307, Senate Bill 205, House Bill 1295, Senate Bill 255, and Senate Bill 256.
Seeing no objection, the bills listed by the Majority Leader will be made special orders at 8:25 p.m. Who? Rep. Basenecker. Members, you have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the House will now resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders. Representative Basenecker will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request to reading a bill at length. Committee reports are printed and in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads. Bills will be laid over upon the motion of the majority leader, and the coat rule is most definitely relaxed. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1284.
House Bill 1284 by Representatives Degree, Kennedy, and Leader concerning modifications to the property tax deferral program.
Representative Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1284, and there are no committee reports.
To the bill. Representative Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colorado Property Tax Deferral Program is an option that allows homeowners to postpone their payment on their property taxes, allowing lower or fixed income homeowners to postpone the payment of their property taxes, allowing lower or fixed income homeowners to remain in their homes. And today, our property taxes are outrageous. It's a great bill. Vote aye.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1284. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1284 is adopted.
Thank you.
Good bill, folks.
Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to Senate Bill 35.
Senate Bill 35 by Senators Bridges and Moreno, also Representative Herod, concerning the operation of the Middle Income Housing Authority and in connection therewith, adding members to the Board of Directors and expanding the power of the authority to enter into public-private partnerships.
Representative Herod.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 35 and the local and the appropriations and local government report and transportation report.
To the Appropriations Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Appropriations Committee appropriated money. I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the Appropriations Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. To the Transportation, Housing, Local Government Committee report, Representative Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had only one amendment in the Transportation and Housing and Local Government, which was concerning reporting mechanism to the county assessor. It just requires notice. We ask for an aye vote on this particular amendment.
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Transportation, Housing, and Local Government Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. To the bill, Representative Herod.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill improves upon the work that we did last year, creating the Middle Income Housing Authority. It adds members and ensures that there's the right type of authority to ensure that there is more middle income housing across the state of Colorado. I ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion on Senate Bill 35. Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Senate Bill 35. All those in favor say aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The bill is adopted. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1299.
House Bill 1299 by Representatives Byrd and Bockenfeld, also Senators Bridges and Kirkmeyer, concerning the Justice Reinvestment Crime Prevention Initiative and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Representative Byrd,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1299.
to the bill.
So I will talk about the bill as soon as my co-prime makes it down to join me. So members, this is a joint budget committee sponsored bill and came to our attention as we were making good progress on the budget. And I'd like to pass it to my good colleague, Representative Bockenfeld, to continue the description.
Representative Bockenfeld, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This was a program that was started approximately in 2017. Along the way, it was put on continuous appropriation for about $3 million a year. And what we've done with the Joint Budget Committee is this bill removes it from continuous appropriation to annual review. And it's a program designated to for criminal justice prevention in 4 targeted areas here in the state of Colorado, and we're just putting it on annual review at this time, and I ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion on House Bill 1299. Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1299. All those in favor say aye.
Right there.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1299 is passed. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1307.
House Bill 1307 by Representatives Doherty and Soper, concerning enhanced supports for youth who are in detention.
Representative Doherty.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I move the appropriations report, the public and behavioral health report, and House Bill 1307.
Wonderful. To the appropriations report.
Thank you. We went to appropriations and were appropriated funding for this bill.
Is there any
Ask for an
further
aye vote.
discussion on the Appropriations Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report to House Bill 1307. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Appropriations Committee report is passed. To the Public and Behavioral Health and Human Services report. Representative Doherty.
Thank you. We ran a few amendments clarifying and making changes regarding the petitions for temporary emergency detention beds. Made changes related to the court procedures and required that a guardian ad litem is appointed at the detention hearing, and provides that the guardian ad litem appointment terminates upon the juvenile's release. And I ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion on the Public and Behavioral Health and Human Services report. Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the committee report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. To the bill, Representative Doherty.
Thank you, and I have 2 amendments. I'll start with, I move Amendment L006 and ask that it be properly displayed.
That is a proper motion. We'll get it displayed. The amendment is properly before us. Please proceed.
Thank you. Amendment L006 is an amendment we worked with the department on, and what it does is it clarifies the data collection that is contained within this bill, and we ask for an aye vote.
Any further discussion on Amendment L6? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L6 to House Bill 1307. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. Representative Doherty.
Thank you, and I now move Amendment L007 and ask that it be properly displayed.
That's a proper motion, and the amendment is before us. Please proceed. Representative Doherty.
In this amendment, we worked with the department to ensure that juveniles would stay within the same judicial district they were charged until all facility options are exhausted, while ensuring that the 22 emergency beds are used how they were intended to be in this bill. And I ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion on Amendment L7. Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L7 to House Bill 1307. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment is passed. To the bill, Representative Doherty.
Thank you. And this bill has some really great parts. We've got wonderful services that were being offered, $200,000 to the Department for Community-Based Services and another $1.7 million to incentivize treatment providers. This bill also allows for 22 temporary emergency detention beds that may be used pursuant to a court order made with specific findings, and we would therefore ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Further discussion on House Bill 1307. Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1307 as amended. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is passed. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over Senate Bill 205 until Monday.
Senate Bill 205 will be laid over until Monday at the request of the Majority Leader. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1295.
House Bill 1295 by Representatives Byrd and Bockenfeld, also Senators Zenzinger and Kirkmeyer, concerning the review of payments made by the Department of Healthcare Policy and Financing to providers.
Representative Byrd.
I move House Bill 1295 and the Appropriations Committee report.
To the Appropriations Committee report.
Oops.
Representative Byrd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, in the Appropriations Committee, we amended the bill with a strike below amendment to turn this bill into an audit of the HCPF RAC audit program. So we ask for your yes vote.
Further discussion
Oh, wait,
on...
don't do that yet. I actually have two amendments. I literally am bound to make this mistake again and again.
Representative Byrd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Amendment L014 and ask that it be properly displayed.
That is a proper motion. And give us 1 second. The amendment is properly before us. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as part of making sure that the audit that is conducted is most efficient, we have created specific questions in collaboration between providers and HCPF. What should the auditor be looking at, and what questions should it answer specifically? And that's what these are, and we ask for your aye vote.
Representative Bockenfeld.
I ask for a yes vote.
Further discussion on Amendment L14. Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L14 to House Bill 1295. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment is passed. Representative Byrd.
I move Amendment L015 and ask that it be properly displayed.
That is a proper motion, and the amendment is indeed properly before us. Please proceed. Representative Byrd.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. Members, this amends the bill to include a legislative declaration, and what this does is just describes why we are conducting this audit. We ask for a yes vote.
Further discussion. Representative Bockenfeld.
I ask for a yes vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L15. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is passed. To the Appropriations Committee report. Representative Byrd.
I ask for a yes vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report to House Bill 1295. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Appropriations Committee report is passed. And we are to the bill. Representative Byrd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, as I mentioned before, this is a joint budget committee bill. During the course of working on the budget, it was brought to our attention that many healthcare providers that accept Medicaid patients had concerns with the administration of HCPF's Medicaid Recovery Audit Contract Program. This is the department's program to ensure that healthcare providers are billing accurately for the services that they provide. It's an important program to prevent fraud and waste. We most certainly want to ensure that our state resources are being safeguarded from fraud, waste, and abuse, but the system of compensating healthcare providers who serve Medicaid patients must be fair and not overly aggressive, as this is costly for providers, wastes their time, and can create poor financial incentives that ultimately result in decreased access to quality healthcare services. The bill before you requests the Office of the State Auditor to conduct an independent review of this program to ensure that we are striking that appropriate balance. We ask for your yes vote.
Representative Bockenfeld.
Ditto for the yes vote.
Ditto is great. Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1295 as amended. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. House Bill 1295 is passed. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over Senate Bill 255 and Senate Bill 256 until Monday.
At the request of the Majority Leader, Senate Bill 255 and 256 will be laid over until Monday. Madam Majority Leader.
Mr. Chair, I move the committee rise and report.
You've heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Schiebel, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report it has under consideration the following touch bills, being the second reading thereof and making the following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1284, 1295 as amended, 1299, 1307 as amended, passed on second reading, order engrossed and placed on the calendar for third and final passage. Senate Bill 35 as amended, passed on second reading, order revised and placed on the calendar for third and final passage. Senate Bill 205, 255, and 256 laid over until May 1st, 2023.
Representative Basenecker. The motion before us is that the House adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole. There are no amendments at the desk. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ortiz votes yes. Representative Garcia, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Garcia votes yes. Representative Morrow, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Morrow votes yes.
Was it a yes or no? Weinberg.
Representative Lukens. Representative Bradley is excused. Please close the machine. With 40 aye, 14 no, and 11 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Madam Majority Leader, I have a bit of business to do. Okay. Mr. Schiebel, printing report.
The Chief Clerk reports the following
Printing report will
bills.
be printed in the Journal. Message from the Governor.
Honorable members of the Colorado House
A
of
message from the
Representatives.
Governor will be forever buried in the Journal. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until Monday, May 1st.
The balance of the calendar will be laid over until Monday, May 1st. Representative Bachenfeld.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. May I have a moment of special privilege?
Yes, you may.
Thank you very much. Members, earlier this morning or early afternoon, it was mentioned that there was a consensus from the Joint Budget Committee to move the current budget forward to the governor's office. And I just want to correct the record. There was no consensus. I don't know why there's a misunderstanding. I look forward to working with my JBC colleagues to find out why there is a misunderstanding, but there was no consensus. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Madam Majority Leader, any final announcements? Representative McLaughlin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Education Committee, we were going to meet on Thursday. We are now going to meet on Monday. 003-296-281-065 and 293. So we're meeting Monday instead of Thursday. Thank you.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House adjourn until 9 a.m. Monday, May 1st.
The House is adjourned until Monday, May 1st at 9 a.m.